All right, man. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome, Nate.
Howdy, guys.
How you been doing, man? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm
Cold.
literally streaming from a back room in a basement right now, as the missus and I are in between houses, but we're almost there. How are you?
Dude, I'm pretty good, man. I can't lie. Like, I mean,
Hey, guys.
I'm doing what I can over here, bro. You know, I've reached that like point of really more than pissed off. So we're trying it out
Mm-hmm.
here. But I feel like the community, to be honest, man, like just, I'm willing to obviously hear your perspective. But it's been like I feel like it's
Sure.
been a really good response, man. Like just people like willing to like feel like I think the majority kind of agree that like we can do something to at least try to get the attention a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's I mean ultimately like I think what I discussed with Nep and Nick20T yesterday or whoever else wants to come in too is like at the end of the day I just want there to be more effort. Like I understand that, I know you do gameplay on stream and stuff, but like you're more of a menu market guy, man. Like even that side of things, dude, it's like it's so sad how we can't even really use the menus this year and there's been no effort into like any of it, right? It's really that's been my larger concern for every single part of this game. It's been really a struggle all around the board. But
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious to hear like some of your opinions on maybe some of the stuff I started. I know that basically everybody either reacted to the initial thing I did and then maybe even talked more further about when we've been adjusting and editing and then added even more additional thoughts. People put their own twists. Like I haven't even watched Matt HD Gamer's video, but Matt I guess has made a video kind of talking about more of his experiences with some of the
Mm-hmm.
weird stuff that EA has done. And it's been like I think it's been really interesting to kind of see like everyone's individual experience. So anything you want to talk about, I'm all ears. That's going to be the majority of talking I'll do in our call today.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I did watch that Matt HD Gamer video, the one that he released yesterday. And I was hoping that we would maybe be able to talk about it a little bit today if this was going to happen, because there were some things like that he pointed out since he was in the partner program, like, the creator program or whatever,
Yeah.
which I have been in now for, gosh, it's been like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
I
Um,
finally won a trophy on
and
FM
it was
Cold
like some of
Palmer
the things
Pen
that
in a
he
90-minute
said,
against Man
I
City.
was like, dang, like I had no idea that they ever in one of the things he said in his videos was he made kind of like a rant video back in, what is it, like FIFA 17 or 18 maybe? And he was like, I had people from EA literally messaging me and saying like, dude, we don't like this video. Like they wanted him to take it down type of thing. And because that, in my experience, I have not heard of that happening. Not like we've made videos before over here about, the game and even this week, right? And I've never had pushback like that. So that was something to me where I was like, oh shoot, like, okay, I completely understand how they don't like the negative talk about it, but at least now, either now they're at the point where they don't care enough to respond and say anything, or they're just like, it's whatever, it's okay, and they don't care about it as much. I don't know. I thought that was really interesting part about his video. That was one thing that I took from it, but
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I that was the initial thing that people were actually really surprised with Matt's experience. I will say this with Matt HD Gamer too, because I felt like Matt was somebody that was closer to EA in the past, and like
mhm.
it's been really interesting because I feel like Matt is also one of those people that I feel like Matt has really hit the point as well of like he's been really annoyed. Matt has actually been personally, whether people believe that or not, Matt has been like reaching out to me for years, dude, about
Mhm.
things that he hates with this game and like stuff that's going on, which I know Matt is probably not in our community necessarily maybe as a like I think Matt is an OG FIFA legend, right? Like he's like
Agreed.
someone
Yeah.
who's been around forever. I don't think he's one that's like right now, like an impact of yesterday where like Ozzy was like, I'm not going to do store packs anymore, or somebody like me that's not going to do that or any of it, right? But I think Matt is an interesting one to all of this because Matt actually knows EA more than any of us do.
Mhm.
So he's one of those guys that like he's got. That's why I was talking yesterday with like Nep and those guys, and it's like trying to figure out. I mean, you're a great asset, right? Because you have an in with these guys. I think, unfortunately, I have probably gone the route over the years of like some sort of unprofessionalism and all. But the frustrating part to me is that when I ever had any contact with people at EA, the contact was never like real. It was all like pretty staged or like really
Mhm.
kind of like false hope and promises. So I don't know. I don't know if there's other things you would like to discuss, insight
Yeah.
wise, other
Yeah. I think
topics.
one of the things that I was listening to the call yesterday with you three for a little bit. I think that the whole idea of we're doing this now, and as somebody who is like, like I'll say this too. I'm in the EA partner program, but I mean, I don't know, like, do they really like me being in there? Because they obviously know that like the way that I am playing this game is without saying it too in the face, which now I'm definitely going to do more of, like say, do not spend FC points. But like that's been the foundation of this, and that's what I've talked about the past couple of days. Like the whole thing that I do on this game is helping people understand the content and the market, reporting on the news, and making coins so that you can do whatever you want in this game by spending a little more time and not having to spend the money. Like does my tie with EA, like am I kind of like, to the side a little bit? Like I don't feel that way necessarily, but I think that when we're ending up presenting these things that we want to see change in the game once we get their attention, however long that is or however that works, like maybe I'm not the guy to be the one to try to deliver the news, but there's other guys that are in the program that are very popular creators that have been in it for like years, kind of
Yeah.
like Matt was before he left. And I think those guys have actually pretty good relationships with the guys at EA.
Yeah.
And I feel like they would be more apt to listen to some of their feedback as they already have in the past. Like,
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
there's changes that have been implemented in this game from feedback that guys like maybe Bateson and a lot of others. I know his name for sure, but like a lot of others have had direct impact on this game from their feedback, which has
Yeah.
come from the community. But like they're the vehicle, I guess, So
Yes, they are the vehicle. That like, and that's what I'm fully aware of that. Whether the community or not is not around that idea. Like, I think we all understand that. I'm sure there's certain creators and stuff, man, that are like, going to these like dinners and stuff with even EA employees and like know them well enough to the fact that I could tell you one person that, I could tell you one person, so like that even works there. I don't really know them on that level, which is,
mhm.
it seems like the influence of top creators or people that are popular that aren't affiliated over the years just hasn't mattered like at all, like when any
Yeah,
people have wanted to make any sort of change. So it's gotten to the point where like I actually think that if we can just get the whole community kind of really against what EA is doing, at least with their revenue stuff wise, like and put a really toxic narrative on what they're trying to do, then maybe it'll just have to force a hand. That's it's like it's one of those where I don't know any other way we're gonna be able to do it. Um
yeah,
I think hitting them in the pockets is gonna be the only way, which is important that, I think everyone. Yeah, I mean it's like it's even like, Nate is like a guys, Nate at the end of the day is like a market guy, right? A trader, and like EA definitely don't like that, right? Because that's going to minimize sales even within itself, right? It's like, and that's
yeah,
why we see that they are moving away from like enabling any of you to, most things that get released on this game now are untradeable in the store, right? There's less and less um of what we used to have because they're trying to, like, I see this is also the problem with people don't realize the decline of this game and everything, right? And in a few years, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if we literally have such a limited market to the point it's not even relevant at all. Like, I think they
hmm
are trying to move so much into the first owner, untradeable vibe. I don't know if they're ever going to fully move away from it, but it has slowly been going that way, right? So
yeah.
that's going to force even more pay to win in the future for them. That's more benefits for them as a business.
Right. Like if the only way where you can get players is by the untradeable packs and all that stuff, then
Yes.
totally it does that. Like I see it too. Like everything this year with so many of the store packs being untradeable, like people open lightning rounds because they want a chance at packing the cards and then like to make coins off. Like, it used to be when you were aiming for a big pull in this game from whatever pack you were opening, paid or not, like you were hoping to get that player, and then if you hit something sick, you also get the monetary value of the coins that that player was too. So, yeah, it seems like coins have less importance. Like when
Yeah.
you go and look at the fodder prices, like earlier, was it like 2 days ago? Everything was minimum price. Like 84s all the way to 88s were almost minimum price,
Yeah.
which is nuts. So
It's
I think.
like
Go ahead. Go ahead.
these guys, I just personally think with that, like, this is why, unfortunately, to the unliking of some of the members of the community, which is understandable, people haven't liked what I've tried to do here with getting people to wake the fuck up, like, just in some sort of way with this game and realize that what we're doing day to day as creators, man, we're
Hmm.
doing a disservice to everyone in this community, man, by just continuing with this bullshit, right? Because it's like, there's not effort. It'd be one thing if I was like, okay, EA have such internal issues that they don't know what to do, but I just don't see any effort, bro. You know what I mean? Like zero. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, there's more effort in EA trying to control what the narrative is of their game than there
Hmm.
is in them actually working on the game. For example, right? We see this Matt HD. And if people aren't aware of this, and you probably have heard this, one of my agents, right? I have two people that help me with off-stream stuff, with doing like brand deals and stuff and all this, right?
Hmm.
Because I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the time to negotiate. That's for those people to do. They get a cut, right?
Yep.
One of my agents that works at UTA, which is United Talent Agency, right? He had a direct hint from EA to tone it the down a few months
Mm.
ago, just randomly, like randomly, had nothing to do with me. Even I've only had in the previous 3 years 2 contacts internally with EA. Something they offered me in November, which was $9,000 to promote people to download this game, which I denied. And then 3 years ago, they said that it would be good for my career in the future to work with EA and have access to working with things like Liverpool and doing videos. Denied that as well. Said, you, I'm going to go my own way. I've made my brand what I've made because I did it for me. I'm self here. You guys gave me the platform, and that's all I need, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that is like they care more about controlling their narrative. The fact that they're reaching out to someone that knows me to tell them to tell me to slow the down is ridiculous. Like, because
Hmm.
at the end of the day, when I make these rant videos, Inception makes these rant videos, bro, it's out of like us wanting better for the game. That's what people don't understand, bro. And it's like,
Hmm.
it's crazy. And that's the thing. Like, I get sick because I'm like, I know even when it's time to go right now, dude, like there's people that are hesitant because who knows what messages are being sent some places, you know? Like, obviously, I respect that you like, this is the thing too, the narrative on the EA creator. I don't like, obviously, you know, like I know you work with EA and are partner with them, and there's nothing, I don't think there's anything against that, because I think you're very real and objective and statistical and data driven, and you're very honest. Like, your videos are literally about the trading and what's going on and what's going wrong, and you always make rant videos when things go wrong. And it's like, how do we know in this community, right, who is saying what? We don't. It's everything is, all this stuff is so manipulative behind closed doors, man. And that's why, like, it's upsetting, bro, because when we want, as a community, changes and we want effort and we want things done, it resorts to this situation. It resorts to, okay, as a community, we're going to have to literally get together, have them try to miss some money with this plan, and we're going to have to try to have bad media coverage. And shit's going to get toxic, bro, right? Like, obviously, I don't want any other creators getting this toxicity, man. But unfortunately, bro, it's just gotten to the point where I feel like as an entire community, we are so frustrated, dude, with the lack
Yeah.
of changes. And we're so
Hmm.
dumb enough as a community to not get together and really every single person invest into it, that we're never going to see any change. And it's like, it just frustrates me, man, that like all this stuff is going on behind the scenes. I don't know who has what going on within EA. And it's like, I'm so disappointed in EA overall, not even our community, that EA would rather spend more time telling people to say this and to not say that and to work on.
Hmm.
It's so disappointing that they would rather do that than actually invest the effort into their game, right?
Yeah, totally. And like, I'll say this about the whole like EA creator thing too. I don't feel like I've ever been, in the 2 years that I've been a part of this program, ever like not been able to say what I want to say in that way too. So I wanted to say that like as well, because I think that there's a lot of the EA creators that, or maybe most of them, that are like just they're being honest, and like they have their frustrations, which are basically the same as all of ours, like all the communities and those that aren't associated with like the EA Creator Network in terms of the creators, right? I think the frustrations are all stemming from the same desire, which is, this is what I talked about in the video that I posted 2 days ago, kind of looking at your tweet and all of the comments and some of the stuff that was coming from that. It's all coming from the same desire to make this game better. Um, and I think that's the momentum that we have to carry forward and not let it die off like it has so many times before. And I'm 100% committed to doing that. Like, I've been saying it every single day now, like being more adamant about, instead of just kind of saying, "Oh, we're doing this today," and trading in a video, like, "Oh, we're going to focus on this," like um focusing on, hey, we're going to be doing this and trying to help people, especially that are like making this switch right now and trying to be a part of this and saying, hey, I'm not spending FC points anymore. I'm done doing this. So then, they're wanting more information about how to trade and spend a little more time on the game to get their coins up to open that 500K pack that they would have spent $50 on before, but now to spend it with the coins. So like actively doing what I can by saying, no, we're trying to make a change. No FC points, not on share plays or anything like that. I
Yeah.
haven't spent FC points for years, but just actively saying like don't do this. And then this is what we're trying to do because of it, and trying to get a response and open up the doors of communication and make it more serious than it ever has been before. So I'm totally committed to that. Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
cool.
So,
Dude, I pulled up your video from yesterday, right? So I didn't get to watch your video, but with your you pulled up the earnings situation, right?
yeah.
So
And
the
that, go ahead.
the way I'm reading this is that it's 5.5 billion in that's for 2024 with the from March 31st 2020. How would that work? March 20.
Yeah. Yeah, their fiscal year is off. So it's like their end of the year is in March instead of in December.
Okay.
So yeah, like the end of the year for them for 2024 was March 31st, 2024.
Okay.
And so that whole number that's all their games too. It's
Okay.
not just FC, FIFA, but like we all know, and it's been said in their conference calls before that like 70%, maybe even more of their entire business is this game.
Yeah, I've heard that
So
70% number a lot.
yeah.
So
So if you look at those numbers and just say, okay, 70% of this is this game,
yeah,
then you see like what was it, 2.2 or something was game sales, and then
2.20, but 5.547. So that's 5.5 billion, right?
right, and then the slide above that was just the last quarter, and there was only like 333 of game sales. Because think about it, a lot of your game sales is going to be in September and October when the game first comes out for them.
Here we go, slide above. So yeah, slide above. So game sales were okay. I've scrolled up. Sorry, bear with me. I haven't seen this yet, so I'm just trying to interpret this correctly. So net revenue was higher in 2023. I'm looking at this. Hold on. Quarterly financial results. 3 months ended.
Yeah, I think the left column was like 333 for 2024, and then it was like 1.4 or 1 point something. Like that was just the last quarter.
There's no surprises that sales are down, Nate. And I think you're the analyst here. I would that's where I would label you here. So the question here is that also, I could be wrong. Was this game not more expensive this year than it was last year? And anyone in the chat that can help us out, because I feel like I remember a huge outrage that regionally this game was more expensive this year.
Yes, I don't know if it was in dollars, but I think it was in the UK. Yeah, that's what my chat is saying. In the UK, it was like,
that would also add in a figure of the revenue is a little off, right? If it was more in the UK, because they're doing huge amounts of sales in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So it's also maybe, I don't know, like user how to look at this, but it would probably also, I mean, obviously it's full game, it's down a bit in sales, but I think it's down a little bit more than we expect, and maybe, you kind of know what I'm getting at here.
Yep,
it's a little more expensive per unit.
Totally. But then I think if you look at like the amount of FC point sales, like that per unit is up like crazy. Like I think there was a 2024 to 23 comparison there of like that quarter, and it was like the in-game purchases or live services versus like the game sales, and it was like a pretty big jump.
Whoa! It's way more than the game sales. Both,
yeah.
Even if we're looking at like this 3 month ended quarterly one, right? It's like. It's like 4.5 times on both quarters.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Which means as a community, yes, there's the casuals loading up money and people are crazy addicted. But as the community, we need to get people to just shit on that number, dude. Because that number is obviously, let's just take a percentage, because Apex is free, right?
I think so, yeah.
So then what other games does EA have that are like cost money people pay? Madden, but that's not going to be anywhere close to FIFA sales, right? So at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to say, like, let's not buy FIFA every year, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone's going to buy FIFA every year anyways. They also have NHL, F1. That's not going to be the hit. That I would agree that I'm probably thinking that, let's just say, like, 70%. Let's just, for the sake of it, like on this quarterly one, right? Let's just say they're bringing in $1 billion a quarter off FIFA's store stuff, right?
Yep, that's accurate, I think.
Just, even as a community, man, like, I don't know. It's impossible for us to know until we give it a long shot try here for a while, because... Yeah, I agree. The largest critique we've seen from every single person in the chat is that they will not do a damn thing, dude, until the revenue gets killed.
Yeah.
So that, and I agree. I think you agree. I think everyone agrees with that. I think no matter what side or feeling you feel with this, the only way you're gonna have change is if they're actually forced to get off their ass and change. We know that my rant videos, Inception's videos, no one, yours, does anything. It doesn't change anything, right? We
Hmm.
know that the people that work with EA and they talk to EA, and maybe these EA creators are telling stuff to these guys that, maybe I don't believe or you don't believe, right? And you don't feel is right. But we know that not a lot changes based on that. So yeah, obviously this is going to be the only way. But I as a person looking at a business, dude, even like a 5% hit, if the entire community can get together and we are not including 95% of the revenue, the casuals are, no matter what, can still go on, spend multiple thousands, right?
Hmm.
I think it's enough, man, for these guys to be like, hey, we're missing this window of the community and we can win them back if we actually show them some effort. And I'm not out my ass here, not getting rank ones, not having coins, not
Hmm.
complaining about that part of it. It's nothing about any of that. It's not about any of that. It's about the effort that we as a community are receiving from this development team. That's what people need to understand. We are getting no effort. Simple fixes, brother. Like, you're making your videos. Nate, I don't watch your videos this year. I can't lie. I don't watch anyone's FIFA videos for the most part.
Yeah. No,
Whenever
yeah.
I do an offline YouTube video, right?
Hmm.
I have to, and it's a menu video. I sit there and cringe because I have to edit out or just try to think of something to waffle about in the 2 minutes. Every 5 minutes I have to reset my game, which is 3 or 4 times during a 20-minute video. I would
Yeah.
assume any of the viewers that watch you, I would assume it's probably similar. You probably do the same thing, right? It's like,
Oh man, yeah. Yesterday, yeah, especially right now with how the random disconnect you get in the game. I think it happened like 4 times during the 20-something minute video yesterday. Like, yeah.
yeah. So, it starts with that, dude. And I think the overall awareness that none of us are really look, at the end of the day, for all of us as creators, it's all going to be in our benefit to have a more realistic action plan rather than our corporate direct account that continuously gets memed, right?
Hmm.
Because nothing they really tweet is good or
Hmm.
productive for us, and it's never surely on time.
Yeah.
So it I don't know what is the end goal here, but the goal is to, if everyone is still confused of what the goal is for us as a community to hurt them financially so that we can go from there and see, now then, EA, what's your play, right? Like, what do you want to do to help us, right? Is it okay, we're going to vouch to you that,
Hmm.
we're hiring whatever, 20, 30, because this whole outsourcing, this whole, I'm talking too much here, but there's so many things, right? That have happened, dude, where, everyone's account's getting hacked and, it's because we're outsourcing and it's human error, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's exhausting. We talk about the black market, right? Where like
Oh yeah.
employees are, and a lot of this is like, I feel bad because I think a lot of this now is going to lie on the EA employees, and they're going to feel this heat. They're going to feel this pressure. They're going to feel this negativity. We've seen many EA employees over the years just f***ing quit because they're like, this is the
Hmm.
worst job ever. All I do is receive hate. Yeah, Sheer, he
Yeah.
maybe still works there. Corey, Zaro, all these guys
Hmm.
have left because they couldn't handle the heat, and a part of me doesn't blame them for that. The goal of this is not to get them to change. They can't do f*** all. I think they're cornered.
Yeah.
The goal of this is to get the higher ups to look at it and be like, damn, dude, right? Our hardcore community day to day is putting out terrible words about us 24/7 and telling us we are, more than just football Twitter accounts replying, calling them scammers. We have huge creators literally saying, this sucks. So there's nothing wrong with anyone playing the game. There's nothing wrong with anyone checking 6 p.m. content. There's nothing wrong with anyone doing icon picks. There's nothing wrong with anyone playing foot champs. I don't know where that has been misled.
True.
You guys
Yep.
can do whatever. That's not the problem, right? And we're looking at the
Hmm.
statement here. Most people watching this stream, even if you don't play FIFA, probably bought the game. We all did, right? That sum number is way lower, right? Than and it's way more important for EA as a company to talk to shareholders instead of active players matters way less than final sales, right?
Hmm.
So you guys sitting there doing your squad battles and all your stuff, that I'm not faulting you for any of that. I don't think it actually matters that much, dude. I think what matters is hurting them in the pocket. So
Yeah, and that's the whole point of this, right? Is to get their attention and say, like, okay, if the community can make this big of a movement and it actually makes a difference to their bottom line on the game, not to say that we're trying to take down the game. Like this is not
No,
we
no, 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 no.
we like aspects of this game and we we all have memories on this game. If you play the game for
Totally.
longer than a couple years, like, you going back to the older FIFAs, I started in FIFA 15, like I go back and think about those memories and I'm like, man, there were
Great
things about those
memories.
games that were amazing, right? And we want it to return to that sort of thing with the new stuff in it as well, but we just want to have the cares of the company as well as
Yeah.
the cool stuff and the content. And I think my last big point would be like, I think we have to be ready to come to the table. And you guys talked about this yesterday too, but we have to be ready to come to the table with ideas respectfully and
Yeah.
say, like, okay, we got your attention. Like, let's have a conversation. And they can say, okay, well, this is feasible for us. And then we can say to them, well, can we push you a little bit on that and like try to get some more out of it and get what we're trying to get accomplished, whether it's servers and gameplay and menu stuff. Like, man, one of my biggest complaints market wise is, can we please not coin ban people for just buying a silver card or selling a silver card from their club for 10,000 coins? Like the coin wipes this year have been run rampant, man. And like the L2, the menu thing that makes the, like you said, glitch out all the time. Like that's, especially coming from a menu grind standpoint, that's sort of the thing that I'm focused on the most. I'll let you have the opinions on gameplay because you guys know more about that than I do. But the menu stuff, like, yeah, just kind of the inner
Yeah, but
workings and all that.
even you as a gameplay guy, because you've played over the years, like, how do you personally feel about this year's game? Like, are you like get evos and everything outside of any of that, right? Like, just
Yeah.
compared to, I don't know when you started playing FIFA, but how you feel about, when you play the game. Do you find the same levels of like annoyance at all the glitches and everything that I see? Do you see that
hmm
too? Does it
Yeah.
frustrate you as much?
I think the things that I get annoyed with this year specifically are like just like I feel like every time I'm moving up the pitch, I'm going up the wing, and there's no, oh hey, I can run a 4-1-2-1-2 and pass to KDB at center attack and mid
Yeah.
and have outlets and have space to turn and look like he would in real life. And so yeah, it's really like just being everything so clogged, and then you dribble down the line because that's where there's space, and you look up and then there's 8 guys in the box, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so yeah, and that's probably my biggest issue. I think the playstyle pluses, like in a good game, playstyles could be, there are already are really unique and really cool. I think they would be
Yeah.
even more cool if you would be able to fully use a Tiki Taka
Yeah,
plus,
yeah, yeah.
you know?
But you don't even
So,
have the space or time to really use it. It's one of those where it's tough to, and I could have my own opinions about playstyles, but I also agree to the other side of that. I don't think you're
mhm,
able to use them enough because of the lack of space, the lack of, speed, style. I think a lot of that, you
yeah,
said the 8 in the box, the 10 in the box, it really hinders the potential with some of the stuff that EA have added. So I also agree with that. Nate, it's funny
yeah,
because like some of the stuff you even mentioned right there, dude, it may come to the point with like this stream where I'm happy to, at some point when we can find the day, chat, that it makes sense. Obviously we have City versus Spurs today, so it's not the day that makes sense, but guys, I can't tell you, there is more things wrong, glitchy, unfixed, insane in this game, that it's so much more than any other game I've seen, that you could like square root it almost, dude. Or not square root it, you could like it's like times over. It's so much more than any other, and I'd be happy to do a dedicated stream to literally point out every single thing. I mean, these are not even things that I'm going to sit here and say like, this part of the gameplay, I don't like it, it's slow. No, these would be like actual facts in the game that
hmm
are, everyone can sit down and say, hey, yes, that is wrong with this game, right? And it's one
yeah,
of those where, I don't know, EA surely knows all this, but maybe they need a full professional cookout of, I'm sure there's videos on YouTube that cover it, but again,
yeah,
this is the thing with EA, guys. That's not going to be enough. And unfortunately, it's a lot of what life is going to be about. It's going to take larger, influential people to make change. It's not going to be able to just, it's one of those where you're going to need that, or you're going to need a revenue hit for any chance, any thought
hmm
of it. It's just how it's going to go. So I think it's important that we all continue to be very critical. And yeah,
yeah. One last point about the
Sure.
revenue. I'm just looking over that quarterly financial highlight again.
Okay.
The numbers right before, I don't know if you still have it pulled up, but actually like right below. So it shows like full game, live services, and other revenue, and then below that is like net income or loss.
Yeah.
The live services, like it's not really that different from last year to this year.
Yeah.
But then look at their net income. They had way less expenses. And think about, I
Way
think Matt pointed
less.
this out in his video too. Like if they're off that little, that's actually less income from year to year, but they have a way bigger net income total
Way.
net. I mean, that means their expenses went down. So
Way down.
less employees, more outsourced stuff, which means more mistakes and
Their
more
expenses
issues.
went
And
down 194 million.
yeah, that's basically,
194
yeah.
million dollars. Their expenses went down this year
Hmm.
because but bro, that's the direct whatever correlation, causation. I don't know, dude. I haven't been in school in a couple years, so I forget what all this stuff means. But you know what I mean? Like that's the direct. They've completely and also a part of that Chad's mentioning too is the FIFA partnership too is another one. Nate, that's true
Yeah,
because they had to pay
that's
for a
fair.
lot of that. But I would say
Yep.
as well, it is evident to me that there's less people working there
Hmm.
this year. You could just clearly tell. That's why we're sitting here making this video about how we've had no effort in patches. By the way, Nate, I mean, I've never been a fan of thinking EA made good patches over
Okay.
the years. I think we've very rarely had a patch that was like, hey, wow, EA, W patch today, man. All right, so I make
Yeah.
these videos trying out the game with the patch, and it's the same old. Nothing changed, or nah, this game is probably worse now, right? Because they got rid of this.
Hmm.
Okay, so here is the thing I want to ask you because I don't read the pitch notes as much as I used to because I threw in the white flag and I gave up. I threw the towel. I'm like, I don't believe these guys can save any of us. Okay.
Hmm.
Have they not made significantly less patches this year overall? I think like last year or the year before, didn't we have sometimes like 30 odd patches or something? I feel like we've had like 7 title updates this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like I don't have the educated
I
knowledge to
feel
tell
like,
you if they have or not, but that's my thought.
yeah, I think maybe there's somewhere on like the EA like pitch notes page where you can go back and look. I might be able to pull that up and just like skim through it. But I would agree with the sense that the patches this year, I felt like they've fixed less or changed
Yeah.
less or had less impact. Like maybe the biggest W patch of the year was them adding the toggle of being able to turn loans on or off inside of your club. Like, okay, that was cool. But
Yeah.
um, I think back to the biggest patches this year, and I think of like, they nerfing the Trivellas and the finesse, but those were like taking away two of the things that we could do to score differently
Yeah.
or making them not as good. But yeah, it does feel like most of the gameplay patches are very, very minimal, and it's more just like updating a few back end things. But then,
Yeah.
which then again, like we've talked about, and like I keep thinking back to the email that you got sent from Patrick Reed, aka the golfer. That's what I think
Yeah,
of
I
when I see
know,
that
I
guy's
know. That
name.
was funny.
If that's real or not, I think a lot of the things that he said, I've heard direct from EA that this game is built on a foundation where it is old and it's been built on top of. And I keep using Jenga as the
Ooh.
analogy. Like when on Jenga, if you pull something out of the middle, the bottom, you put it on top, eventually it falls over. And that's kind of feels like what's happening with the base of this game. The employees that built
Oh,
it
I spelled
are
that
not
wrong.
there, or the people that are there now don't know what is all happening when they change something, and it affects something like 4 or 5 different places that they didn't mean to change.
Yeah, like cold. Like take out the middle piece.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, also Chad is reporting right now that there is a content glitch today. So
Really?
I haven't checked the content in a couple of days because to be honest, bro, I'm still having nightmares of the Bundesliga team of the season. It has nothing to do with what's going on right now. I just need a little fresh air, but it's
Mhm.
crazy, man. Like, and that's the thing. There's still people that will say I am complaining. I am wrong. Like, it's just, dude, this main problem for me is the fucking effort this company is giving us this year. Sunday, it's like not one day goes by where they fix something from the other day, but the problems just keep accumulating, right? Today, there's
Yeah.
a new pack that people are completing, and it's not even appearing in the store. You have to open another pack to see it. It's just broken. Everything is broken, bro. Sunday, they release an icon content at 6 a.m., not 6 p.m., right? There's like 2 other things that even happened this week, and not even including what happened on Friday. Oh, it's just, Man, it's getting exhausting to cover. I'm sure it's like, as every creator in this community to have to like act like everything is okay and the house is on fire. It genuinely, this game right now for the future is reminding me of the just let it go, bro. It's over. You've seen it with the Gucci bag, right? And it's hanging on by a thread, bro. This game for the communities that watch us is no longer, people are not really growing anymore. And it's art. That's what I don't understand, man. A lot of this game right now is being carried by the hardcore creators, man, that continue for us to all make content because it's what we've known. But at the end of the day, the game is not anywhere in my spot defendable at this point. And we've just got to a point where we need to have an intervention with these guys, bro. Because
Yeah.
the Patty in the chat right now that's telling me stop playing is the weakest kid I've ever seen in my life, because Patty just quits. Every time life is tough, he quits. Every time his family requests something he can't do it, he quits. He runs away. Every time his girlfriend wants him to sacrifice, he quits. He's a weak kid. I'm not a weak kid. I'm willing to sit here and fight for our community and work with people to try to get something out of these bozos, bro. That's where I'm after, man, and that's where we just see it differently. Like, I want to keep playing this game because I really like FIFA, and I grew up playing this game, and I don't want to stop. But
Yep.
that's just my shit. Like, that's how I feel. So
No,
I think we have to be strong as a community and really try to hurt the revenues. I think your video is so good showing the data. I have been looking for that, and I haven't really found it, so I'll be looking into that. And I love your thumbnail. EA Sports are frauds. This is like, I gotta work on my thumbnail game, bro. You're killing it. I would click on all these videos.
Well, I knew that putting that on the thumbnail probably wouldn't earn me any brownie points, but like that's how we feel, right? And that's why we're trying to make some changes and have these conversations and come up with those lists and figure it all out to try to just make this game what it can be.
I know that no matter what we say, there's gonna be people like somebody in my chat just said, "You overestimate how important you are. Look what happened to Kurt," right? That's what I'm attempting to do here is unite our community, because this is a lot larger than me, brother. You know, but the thing is that we are going to need, man, the consistency of it pushed to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's nothing about me, brother. It's about what we want as a community in the future. And I think it's a bit selfish of some of you guys that aren't seeing the perspective that if there's any chance of any of this working, it's going to be for the bettering of your experience as well. That's what I'm missing here. You guys some of you guys are acting like we're doing this as creators because we want to have a better day-to-day job and enjoyment with the game, which is absolutely true. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a better enjoyment for everybody. It's supposed to be that you search for players and it works. It's supposed to be that you enjoy playing the game more. You enjoy this and that, and it's like we're just trying. So.
Yeah, and that's why I think the biggest, or the voices are going to be the loudest, and the biggest impact is going to be had if we continue to be like actually caring about it and doing something about it. Like, I've already got, and maybe it's not just me, but like, what if every creator who wants to kind of be a part of this and spread the news and like is operating in a way where we all post a video that's somehow related to, no, like I'm already seeing for myself, like, start of FC25, I'm like, this, you don't need to spend points on FC25, like, or FC25, no points, something like that. Whether it's like, I know Nep and Nick mentioned like a one YouTube channel altogether with a bunch of ideas, whether it's that or everybody individually, like just the proactive, hey, you realize you don't have to spend money on this game, and we're doing this to try to get a better game for all of us. So, yeah. No, I'm excited about it, bro. I know that it's kind of like it's uncomfortable in a way too for a lot of people, and I think that's why some of the reaction to your tweet happened. Like,
because it's not easy to make change. It's easy to be comfortable.
Right, and I credited you a bunch in that video because I was like, realize it or not, like Nick is sticking his neck out here and trying to make a change, and I think what you did with that tweet is going to be like the start of all this good stuff, and I think it really is going to make a difference. Promise I'm not glazing chat. Yeah,
but it's important that you are optimistic, right?
Yeah.
Anyone that's fucking pessimistic with this, bro, go do what makes you comfortable and go do it, right? And keep doing it because you don't care enough. And if you don't care enough, why the hell should anyone force you to do something you don't want to do? So that's also what I'm trying to make sure that I'm talking to these creators and shit, man. I don't want creators, as much as they are feeling like they're probably getting cornered and bullied, because I do think it is the right thing, and a lot of people do. I don't want anyone to do this when they don't want to, So, all right, man, I'll let you go. I don't want to waffle too much.
No, it's all good. That's a good conversation, man. I appreciate everything that you did, and I think that it's I think it's bringing good stuff. The hate has kind of like, the dust has settled from the weekend too, which I think is
It's the
good.
internet,
Like
man, you know?
the anger, right? But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
it is.
it is the internet. Some people are just look, like there's also a group of our community that has more hatred outside of the annoyance and things they feel towards EA that just are, you're gonna find people on the internet that are like ruthlessly negative, man.
Yeah.
That just bro, once there's brother, without getting political, any protest in real life as well has this as well, right? You've got the section that makes it insanely violent, right? And it gets crazy. And it's like that happens in everything. Any movement going on, there's always going to be that corner that's like, bro, they have no chill and they don't know how to actually be objective with it and they take it too far.
Yeah.
And so when I'm seeing like EA creators getting Indeed links and certain people like that's not fair to them, man. And
Yeah.
it's not going to help us in the long run. I think Nep made really good points yesterday about how, hey, Nep sees it better than me. He's 20 years older than me. He's like, yo, we got to be professional here. There's still,
Yeah.
I'm still not up there. And I got to realize like, hey, if we're going to do this, it's just got to be objective. Let's cut the money for these guys. And that's it. End of story. Business done, So,
Yep.
all right, man.
No,
Good
exactly.
talk.
Absolutely, bro. Appreciate you having me on. Have a good rest of the day, man.
All right, man. You too, man. Good luck with the moving and everything, bro. I wish you the best.
I appreciate it, dude.
All right,
Thank
dude.
you, man. All righty. Later.
Cold. All right, man. W for Nate, though, man. Nate's a real one, bro. I mean, Nate is a real one, dude. So we love to hear that. I mean, it's always great to have people agree with your sentiment. I think he's got really good points. I think he sees the vision, which is all that matters, right? And but I mean, obviously, I wouldn't expect anything differently from Nate because Nate, before he started streaming, was a huge part of my community, even like in the first couple of years that I was, really breaking out and streaming. So he's a good dude, man. And if you don't watch his YouTube videos, you should watch his YouTube videos, guys, because he covers the game really well. He does a lot of stuff that I wish I was doing these days and I'm not. And he's really knowledgeable. So he's a good dude.